How do you like that sunset, folks? Was that beautiful? That has to be one of the best sunsets I've seen since I moved here to Jamesville, Virginia from New York City last year. And it's cold though, it's 23 degrees out right now. And last night we had a storm blew through and we lost power overnight, so it was a cold, long night. But now it's sunset, beautiful. And what could be better than a nice hot bowl of soup on a night like this? So I'm going to make a hearty lentil soup. This is one for the vegans, but if you're a carnivore, you'll love it too. And you can even sneak some cooked meat in it as well. So let's go inside because I don't want to freeze my lentils off. Hey, it's Chef Kevin, and how did you enjoy that sunset? That's probably the best one I've seen since I've been here. Okay, there's nothing like a hot bowl of soup on a night like tonight, and I'm going to be making a hearty lentil soup. This is one for the vegans, but carnivores will love it also. It's really healthy and has a lot of flavor to it. Now, I remember growing up, we had lentil soup occasionally. I grew up in a Italian-German family, and the Italian side would make lentils, and I just thought it was the worst thing in the world. And maybe that's because they were just making it a very simple way. I'm adding a lot of spices, a lot of flavor to it, and it is really tasty. I mean, a lot of people have bad experiences growing up, particularly with vegetables, and then as an adult they try to shun those. But as I've been cooking more and more, I've been really getting into vegetable type soups and vegetables as well. And of course I remember my mother always saying, eat your vegetables or you can't leave the table. Vegetables are good for you, and she's right. She's still alive and she's 88 years old. Okay, this one's for you, Mom. Let's take a closer look at the ingredients. Okay, I have a lot of nice ingredients here. Let's start out with the vegetable broth. This is Pacific Food brand organic vegetable broth. Now, you don't have to use broth, you can use water, but why use water? Because water has no flavor. This has the flavorings of carrots, celery, onions, leeks, tomato puree, sea salt, mushrooms, garlic, spices, sea salt. Okay, all the good stuff. And there's no sugar. You'd be surprised, a lot of these commercial broths and stocks actually have some form of sugar in them. I try to avoid that. I don't want sugar in my soup. Moving right along. Lentils. These are green lentils. Lentils come in different colors. These are the ordinary green lentils. They're very good for doing soups. I have some celery, carrots, onion, garlic. I'm not going to use all that, of course. Italian seasoning. This is a combination of rosemary, basil, marjoram, and assorted spices. This will go really well. The salt and pepper, lemon, you'll see how that gets incorporated. Fire roasted diced tomatoes. A lot of flavor, a lot of health. And ground cumin. I'm going to add that as well. Okay, let's get right into this. I'm hungry. This is my supper. Let me do the food prep first, and we'll take it from there. Okay, the celery was actually pre-washed, so all I'm doing is cutting off the ends, cutting in half, and then small dice. Now I wish I had the celery leaves because that would make a really interesting garnish, but this is the way it came. Okay, so I have about 1.5 cups of smallish to medium diced yellow onion, and I have about 3/4 cup of the baby carrots, small cut. The baby carrots you don't have to peel. They already came washed, so I didn't even have to peel them. And that's my celery, about 3/4 cup. And I have a tablespoon or so of fresh ground pepper. Now you can use whatever combination of vegetables you want. You can use more or less of one or another. It all depends upon what you like. There's a lot of variation. You can get really quite creative. Usually speaking, you have 2 parts onion and 1 part each of the celery and carrots, but that's not written in stone. Okay, let's go over to the stove. Okay, I have a 4-quart Dutch oven. That's a cast iron Dutch oven. Doesn't have to be cast iron. It can be anything. Onions in. Celery. Carrots. Couple of tablespoons of Himalayan sea salt. I'm going to go ahead and put the pepper in straight off. This way it starts cooking, starts roasting, get that flavor out of there. Okay, this is called sweating down. I want the onions to become nice and translucent. Everything is going to be nice and softened up. Bring those flavors together. That should only take about 3 to 4 minutes at a medium heat. Okay, the onions are nice and translucent. Then I'll go ahead and add a couple of tablespoons of tomato paste. This is organic tomato paste. Add some flavor, add some acidity. My garlic, about a tablespoon and a half or so. I'm going to put in about 3 tablespoons of Italian seasoning. I'm going to put in 2 tablespoons of cumin. This is not going to be the lentil soup I grew up with, I'll tell you that right now. Sorry, Dad, but I think mine's better. Okay, I'm just going to keep cooking this for another 3-4 minutes on a lowish heat. Okay, that was about 3 minutes. These vegetables are roasting up really nice. It smells so great, so beautiful. This is my fire roasted diced tomatoes. That's 28 ounces. That's a standard large can, 28 ounces. I'm going to add 2 quarts organic vegetable broth. This just screams healthy. Okay. I'm going to add 1 cup of green lentils. Always have to make sure you wash them, check them for any bits and pieces of dirt or whatever. Now the green and the brown lentils are the most common. You don't want to use a French lentil, it may not hold up. They also come in red, but that's used more for sauces than soups. So I'm going to bring this to a simmer, and then I'm going to cook it for about 30 minutes and taste it, make sure everything's nice and soft, and finish it off from there. Okay, so I brought it up to a simmer, and if you see this foam on the top, just going to remove that. That is a foam or a scum that appears virtually on any type of soup, especially a soup that has protein in it like chicken or beef. You don't have to do this, but I think it makes for a better appearing soup. Okay, I'm just going to skim this off a little bit more and then continue to simmer it for about 21 minutes or so. Okay, so it's been simmering for a good 35 minutes. The lentils are nice and cooked through, they're nice and soft. The carrots are a little bit on the al dente side. Very good though. Okay, what I'm going to do now is thicken it using a burr mixer. If you don't have one of these at home, you can use a food processor. Now what this does, of course, is it macerates the vegetables, and this thickens the sauce. Sorry, thickens the soup. Okay, I don't want to completely macerate it. Just enough to give it a nice thick texture, as you can see. We're not out of the woods yet, however. I'm going to put in the juice of half a lemon. Nature's sauce. nice and bright, healthy, no calories. Gonna put a little gray poupon mustard in that.
Pardon me, would you have any grey poupon?
You mean the mustard?
Yes, would you have any?
Would I? Or do I?
Both, actually.
What?
What?
You know, I'm asking you.
But I was asking you.
Is this about the mustard again?
Yes. Would you have some?
Oh, since you're offering, yes, thank you, I would.
Oh.
Yes, may I borrow some gray poupon? Teaspoonful will do. Work that in there. Not done yet. Going to add a little tarragon vinegar. Now, if you don't have tarragon vinegar, you can use rice wine vinegar or apple cider vinegar. This has a very fragrant note. It's on the sweet side and it's very acidic. It's 7%. So I'm going to add a little acid to the soup. No, not that type of acid. Perhaps a tablespoonful. You don't need a lot. No, I'm not talking about this type of acid.
You on drugs?
You funny guy. Come here, buddy.
Okay, the last thing I'm going to do is add a nice cup of cilantro. Now you can use cilantro, which is not traditional, but I like cilantro. You can use parsley, of course, very traditional parsley. You can use kale. That would give it a nice flavor as well. It all depends upon what you want to do, what your favorite spices are. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and taste this. May need a little bit more salt, I don't know. Very good. The spices just make it absolutely stunning. I think it does need a touch of salt. Okay, I'm going to salt it and then serve it. Okay, your soup is served. This is very healthy, very flavorful. And why is it healthy? Is because it has a lot of the healthiest vegetables in it. The onions, the garlic, the tomatoes, they all have certain immune boosting qualities as well as anti-inflammatory qualities. Now I put the cilantro in at the very end and I did not macerate it with the burr mixer. That would have made it a little too green. But what I'm going to do now is just put a little bit more cilantro on top. And then I'm going to garnish it with just a little cayenne pepper dusting. Oh, and of course, what makes it healthy, of course, is the lentils itself. Lentils are very high in protein. Okay, folks, thanks for watching this video. This is Chef Kevin. Hasta mañana.